Have you ever found yourself captivated by the intricate redstone creations showcased in tutorials, only to wish you had a deeper understanding of what each block was doing? Are you fascinated by the potential of crafting complex builds, yet hesitant to dive into the world of redstone due to its perceived learning curve? Today we'll unravel the inner workings of redstone, breaking down the barriers that may have held you back. Redstone is dropped when you mine redstone ores and is the main ingredient in most redstone components. Other ingredients you will need include stone, cobblestone, wooden planks, sticks, quartz, strings, iron, slime balls, and many more. Check the crafting recipe book for each component you need. This tutorial will be a basic one, and I will not include all redstone components or mechanics. The goal is to understand what redstone can do and hopefully help you understand the redstone tutorials you follow. The basic concept of redstone is this: a redstone power source activates a redstone component. This can be a lever powering a redstone lamp or a pressure plate opening a door. A signal source can be a simple button or a more complex skulk sensor. Between a signal source and the effector, several redstone components can pass forward the signal, prime of which is the redstone dust, which acts like an electrical wiring. If you like to begin understanding redstone better, then stay tuned. Let's start with redstone power sources, the blocks which can give redstone signal to redstone dust. A redstone block crafted from 9 redstone dusts is an always-on redstone power source. It powers any components directly to its side, even those above or below it. Here we have redstone lamp being powered by a redstone block. Redstone blocks can be pushed by pistons and is unaffected by water or lava. Redstone blocks cannot power components diagonal to it unless connected with redstone dust or other components. Redstone blocks cannot be powered off and will always activate properly connected components. This is a redstone torch. It can power adjacent components around it except components attached to its base. It can be attached to a side of a block, and we can see here it powered all the blocks except the one it is attached to. A unique behavior of redstone torches is its ability to check the powered state of the block it is attached to. If we power this white wool with a push of the button, the redstone torch briefly turns off. If we use a lever to power the white wool, the redstone torch turns off. Redstone torches will remain on until the block it's attached to becomes powered. This is a classic redstone torch tower. We can see the torch's alternate power states depending on the powered state of the block they're attached to. This block is powered, which turns off this torch. This block is unpowered, hence this torch can stay on and turn on the redstone lamp on top. Removing the torch at the bottom reverses the power states of all the blocks in the tower. This is redstone dust. It connects to other redstone dusts adjacent to it and automatically configures a turn when needed. When placed closely together, these connect to form grids. Both redstone dust and redstone torch can be displaced by water. Now let's take a look at some of the many power sources in the game. We have the lever, the button, and the pressure plate. Redstone dust, being the electrical wiring in redstone, does not pass signal indefinitely. Redstone dust has a property called signal attenuation and is capped at 15 blocks from the source. At 16 blocks from a redstone source, redstone dust can no longer carry the signal forward, indicated by the lack of particle effects. This signal is strongest next to the source and weakens every block away until it reaches 0 on the 16th block and beyond. This is visualized by the dust gradually turning dark red from the source. From a power source, redstone dust can carry power to activate redstone components. In this example, the redstone dust is powering the grass blocks, which in turn powers the lamps. Redstone can power most solid blocks in the game. This is a lever which can be flicked on and off. It also provides level 15 power to redstone dust and thus reach up to 15 blocks from the source. A button provides the same power level but only briefly. There are two main types of buttons, wooden and stone. Wooden buttons crafted from wooden planks provide a slightly longer redstone pulse compared to stone buttons. The pressure plate is activated by stepping on it. It gives a power level of 15 and are practical ways to automate your doors or fence gates. Just make sure you only place the pressure plates inside your house or base and not outside to let zombies or animals to get inside. In this example, you can see we did not use redstone dust to connect the pressure plate to the door or fence. That's because the pressure plate is already next to the door or fence. When activated, this pressure plate powers the block below it and any component directly to its side. This principle holds true for most of the power sources in the game, unless they have a specific output side. There are 4 types of pressure plates. Wooden and stone pressure plates function similarly, with wooden pressure plates providing a slightly longer redstone pulse. The other two are the light-weighted pressure plate and heavy-weighted pressure plate. These holding spaces both contain 16 cows each. Using the light-weighted pressure plate, we get a signal strength of 15, while we only get a signal strength of 2 using the heavy-weighted pressure plate. That's because light-weighted pressure plates output a signal of 1 for every entity stepping on it. Heavy-weighted pressure plates output a signal of 1 for every 10 entities stepping on it. So for us to get a signal strength of 3 on this side, we need more than 20 cows. We can't put more than 24 cows in this 1x1 space because they will die of entity cramming. Basically, the game kills entities crammed in 1x1 spaces if more than 24 to maintain performance. That limits the use of this heavy-weighted pressure plates to non-breathing entities like items, but that is a more complex mechanic. So what do you do if you need to power a component that is more than 15 blocks from your power source? You can add repeaters along your redstone wiring to extend the signal for another 15 blocks after the repeater. This line is more than 30 redstone dust long and needs at least 2 repeaters. Repeaters are directional and only accept signal from the back and outputs to the front. It will not work if you place it pointing back towards your signal source. Redstone repeaters also allow you to control signal direction in complex builds as they only allow one direction of redstone power. Redstone dust, on the other hand, can receive and conduct signal from either end of a line. Repeaters also have this delay switch corresponding to 4 different delay settings. Usage of this setting is best reserved for redstone builds, which require precise timing of different components to achieve a desired action. We'll have to leave that out to keep this video basic. Here are some of the mini blocks which can be activated by use of redstone. Some of the blocks here can be manually operated by the player, like wooden doors and fences, but some require redstone signal to work. Redstone lamps can be turned on and off. Copper bulbs are toggled on and off. They will need another signal to change state. Pistons extend their arms when powered and retracts when unpowered. There are 2 types, regular pistons and sticky pistons. Both types will push blocks forward, but only sticky pistons will pull back blocks attached to its arm when unpowered. This white wool will remain in the air once the regular piston is unpowered. Pistons can only push certain blocks in the game, mostly solid, non-inventory containing blocks. Pistons can push multiple blocks at once, but not more than 12 blocks at a time. Some blocks pushed by pistons can break into items. Examples include plants, crops, flowers, beds, shulker boxes, and many more. The bell can be rung by the player manually, and when done inside a village, it prompts villagers to run inside their houses. Players can open fence gates, wooden trapdoors, and wooden doors by hand. But iron trapdoors and iron doors can only be operated by redstone power. Redstone dust can travel up and down blocks for a maximum of 15 blocks from the power source. When building compact redstone contraptions, do remember that redstone dust can be cut off by solid blocks. In this example, this white wool has prevented the redstone dust to travel up and power the lamp. If you need to send redstone dust upwards in a 1 block wide space, use glass blocks or glowstone blocks because these do not cut off redstone dust. Alternatively, you can use upper half slabs in this configuration. While the redstone dust's connection may not be visually apparent, the powered state of the lamp serves as an indicator of the connection. When redstone dust is not pointing directly and solely to a redstone component, it only powers the block below it. These redstone dust forming a grid is not pointing to any of the pistons and are only powering the grass blocks below them. To power a piston, a redstone dust must either be directed solely to the piston or powering a solid block directly beside the piston. By the way, pistons can be oriented in all directions. To correct this, we can place repeaters pointing power directly to the pistons. This is a dropper. It has 9 inventory slots from which it can randomly select items to drop when activated. Right now we only have raw chicken inside, hence it will spew 1 raw chicken with each redstone activation. If we placed other items inside, the dropper will randomly select from those occupied slots. Droppers can be oriented in all directions. The unique feature of droppers is their ability to insert an item onto a block with an inventory. Blocks with inventories include chests, barrels, furnaces, droppers, and dispensers. This dropper will drop its content on the ground. This dropper is facing a chest. This dropper is pointing upwards to the barrel. This dropper is pointing downwards to the furnace. The chest, barrel, and furnace are currently empty save the fuel inside the furnace. With a redstone pulse, the droppers will insert 1 item onto the respective blocks they're pointing to. Droppers have a face on one side to indicate direction of output. Speaking of faces, the dispenser is also another block with a face to indicate output side. Unlike droppers though, it mimics the action of a player instead of dropping or inserting items onto inventories. It has 9 slots inside, and it will also randomly select which slot to use if populated with different items. These items inside are items which the player can use or throw. This is a target block, a redstone component which outputs a signal when struck by compatible projectiles like arrows. If we give this dispenser a pulse, it will use, throw, or fire 1 random item from inside. That was a fire charge, and as you can see, it does not prioritize order of placement inside the slots. Dispensers aren't particularly sharpshooters, as you have seen. It missed the target block with the first snowball. Whoops, we caught ourselves on fire. We will discuss the target block in depth in a separate video. Dispensers can use firework rockets, water and lava buckets, and even place minecarts on rails and boats on water. See how that boat got dropped as an item instead of a writable one? The dispenser can only place down boats on water and not on land. When a dispenser cannot properly use the item placed inside it, it will simply spew it out as an item. In some situations, when a dispenser encounters a problem, it will simply make a click and not do anything. Dispensers are probably one of the most useful components in Redstone. Watch this. I got 5 dispensers here pointing inwards with 1 pointing upwards hiding under the stone pressure plate. I will just walk through this space and bam! Full armor plus a bonus sword. Isn't that cool? So each dispenser has 1 type of item each. Helmet on one dispenser, chest plate on another, and so on. This is a simple redstone build with one pressure plate activating all 5 dispensers with the help of redstone dust to reach the upper dispensers. With one pulse, all dispensers fired together and equipped me as a pass-through. The next component to learn is the hopper. It accepts items from the top side and forwards it to the next connected hopper. It interacts with most blocks with inventories and inserts the items they receive to the block they are pointing to. To understand the hopper better, we'll switch to a 2D representation. A hopper can pick up items floating on top of it. It can also pick up items less than a block of space above it. So it can pick up items atop of slabs, trapdoors, carpets, and even blocks which are only a few pixels shy of a full block like mud and path blocks. If the block above a hopper is a storage type or something with an inventory, the hopper will pull out items from those blocks. The hopper has 5 slots of inventory to store items. If the hopper is connected to another hopper to its side, it will pass its contents to that hopper. If a hopper is pointing to a storage type of block or something with an inventory, it will likewise pass its contents to that block. To direct the flow of items of a hopper, you must point the hopper to your target block. To do this, press Shift to crouch and place the hopper while looking at the side of the target block. Crouching prevents you from opening the target block's inventory while attempting to place the hopper. The hopper has a tube at the bottom to indicate where it's pointed at in terms of output. Hoppers, while configured to point to these chests, will always pull down items onto a hopper below it before attempting to push items sidewards. This hopper feature will ignore the direction of the output tubes and pull down items to the bottommost hopper. For this storage, the items will pass down the hoppers into the bottommost chest. Once this chest and its adjacent hopper become full, the second to last hopper will start pushing items to the second level chest. I hope that was easy to understand. Lastly, hoppers can be locked by redstone power. If a hopper is powered by a redstone source, it will freeze its operation. It will not pick up or pull items, and it will not forward its contents. This is a simple redstone build which automatically pulls out cooked items into a chest. Furnaces receive items for cooking from top loading hoppers and receive fuel sources from side loading hoppers. So from the hopper principles we just learned, we know that our raw chicken will be loaded properly, cooked, and unloaded to this chest for storage. As previously mentioned, hoppers pull items from blocks equipped with inventories as demonstrated by the examples presented here. However, there's an exception. Hoppers cannot push or pull items from the inventories of lecterns and ender chests. By mastering the basics, you unlock the gateway to boundless creativity. From the simplest circuits to intricate contraptions, Redstone empowers you to bring your imaginative visions to life. The true joy of working with Redstone lies not just in the creation itself, but in the journey of problem solving that leads to your intended action. Each challenge you overcome adds a layer of satisfaction and fuels the spark of ingenuity within you. So fellow builders, embrace the complexities, relish the puzzles, and let your imagination run wild. I am Expensage. See you in the next one.